Jalen, you were talking to me about this, and you were really excited after watching these prelims, weren't you?
Yeah, and it was definitely unexpected how fast they were going. Watching the prelims, they usually have a set time of how long they expect each fight to go, so it could be fluid. But the fights were ending so fast. The first one ending in 29 seconds. They had to keep putting a whole bunch of time gaps and commercials to fill in the time because fights were just ending left and right. It was amazing.
It was a production man, or is the head of production's nightmare when it comes to trying to run the
Pretty
show, huh?
much. Like starting off a prelim is kind of you just came off the early prelims. You got a couple fights. You plan on getting everything ready for the main card, and then the first guy ends the fight in 29 seconds, and now you're like, crap. So definitely a nightmare for the production team.
Yeah, man. Blake, what were your initial thoughts after watching the prelims?
Very quick start, like you guys were saying. Um, I just couldn't believe it just seemed like everyone was just dropping like flies to start off the
Yeah.
card, man. I mean, knockout after TKO. So entertaining. I mean, really, you couldn't take your eyes off the screen. I mean, I was trying to cook dinner and get all my barbecue stuff situated, and I just couldn't find myself pulling myself away from the screen long enough to really do anything very helpful in the kitchen.
Right, man. Who would have thought going into Saturday night that the prelims would rival the stacked main card that they had?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
If someone,
That usually does not happen.
right before this
They had
prelims,
some
if someone
sneaky good talent on the prelims,
they
though. I
did
mean, really,
actually,
that Shabazian kid,
it was
he
just
is going to be
Shabazian's a
it was just
beast.
overshadowed by the main card. But the prelims could be a stacked fight night main card, honestly.
Yeah,
no
that
doubt.
definitely could have been. So just to go over the fights that happened in the prelims for everybody who does not know, first fight was Rosenstrike versus Arlovsky, ended in 29 seconds versus first round KO. Second fight of the prelims was Tavares versus Shabazian, ended around 2 minutes and 30 seconds off the head kick KO. In the first round,
Not
also.
the last one of the
Uh,
night.
Third fight was Burgos versus Americani. That one went 3 rounds, but also ended in a TKO. Next fight after that on the prelims was Johnny Walker versus Corey Anderson, which also ended in a first round KO.
Yeah, that shit's nuts.
Yeah.
Man,
That's how you want to start a fight card, though, right? I
man,
mean,
how
shoot,
else do
four
you get
Definitely.
people
knockouts, four out of four.
right? But how else do you get people? Because of course, the early prelims are also there for the UFC to get last minute buys on the pay per view. What better way to do it than to
Hmm.
see a shit ton of knockouts?
Right.
Yeah,
That
pretty
had to be good
much.
for business.
Yeah, and definitely a lot of the guys who were on this prelims were definitely guys who could have been those first fight main card guys.
Hmm.
So I feel like a lot of them kind of felt disrespected by being on this prelim and wanted to show out. And I definitely think a lot of them did.
So they chose to take their anger out, maybe their frustration towards Dana, onto their opponents and just beat the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, and a couple of dance moves were thrown out there too. Um, I thought it was funny, Johnny Walker coming out dancing, trying to do what Israel Adesanya did. But I feel like the last thing we were talking about when the Israel Adesanya fight happened was if you're going to come out dancing like that, you better win.
Yeah,
And
right.
Johnny Walker came out and got destroyed.
That was
And
just
then
such a
after
fucking
that,
scrub for that.
yeah, Anderson comes out and starts doing all his dance moves that Johnny Walker just did. Like that. That's he. Anderson also pointed out he did feel disrespected at the weigh-ins when he was announced. The crowd was completely silent. Like it was pretty sad how silent they were. And then they called Johnny Walker's name and they just exploded. So I feel like this was anger. That was just straight up anger by Corey Anderson. And then after the fight, he announces to Dana White, I either want a title fight or I want to be released. Dana White said it was kind of a bitch ass thing to do by Corey Anderson, which I think is funny.
Wait,
uh,
he actually said bitch ass.
I think he said bitch ass. It was bitch something. It was bleeped
Fucking
after
Dana.
bit. So it was long enough to be bitch ass. So I'm pretty sure it was bitch ass.
Fucking Dana, dude. Isn't he
Yeah,
just like the best like president of any kind of
I would
sports
love to
league
see him as the
in the
president
world?
of the NFL.
Commissioner.
Commissioner
Dana
White.
White.
That'd be
The
awesome.
one commission that would
But
actually try
he
to
said,
fight the people that he runs or the organization that he runs.
definitely. But then Dana came out and said that to get what you wanted in this business, you have to go out there and prove it. And he said that Corey Anderson has proved that he deserves better. So he said definitely Corey Anderson will be up there in the talks for light heavyweight. But also, we just had a couple other guys win some good fights that are also in that top 10, top 5 that also want fights. So he said it's going to be up there. Reyes just won his fight against who was that he just fought?
Weidman.
Was that Weidman?
Yeah.
He fought Weidman, right?
That was a Weidman
Yeah.
at UFC Boston.
Yeah, he fought Weidman at UFC Boston. So he said Reyes just won his fight. So he said the lightweight is kind of up for discussion.
See, I
but
think
definitely
Reyes
Corey
is-
Anderson's name will be mixed in there.
Yeah. I think he should be up there, but Reyes, I think, is probably going to be the best matchup moving forward for Jones.
I think Reyes is probably the best matchup against Jones. I think I'd probably give it to Anderson, just based off Anderson's been here for a while and he's continuously been consistent and proving himself. Reyes is still kind of newer. And when you stop kind of the train that Johnny Walker wasn't just fighting dudes. He was obliterating dudes before this fight. And to come in there and obliterate him, I feel like that gives you either a title shot or at least somebody in the top 2, top 3, something like that.
if-
I'd probably give it to Reyes just because he's higher.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it to Reyes because he's higher ranked. But I definitely think he should be within Johnny Bones' next 1 or 2 fights.
I think so. So once Reyes becomes the next win for John Jones, then you feed Anderson to him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you have to do. And Anderson tried to also, try to get a few pay-per-view sales just in case his fight gets made by calling John Jones a fraud. He said John Jones went from a role model to a fraud after everything that happened over the past couple of years.
Yeah. But that, man, one hell of a prelims. If you guys could go watch the highlights of that, I definitely would. But after the prelims, let's just move on into the main card of all of it.